Hello, what's up everyone? It has been some time since I have posted a video, but I have received several emails from some of you about the POST Pellet B exam. So I'm going to be labeling this POST Pellet B Part C, I believe, so that we can talk a bit about the exam. Your first step, if you're seriously thinking about taking the POST Pellet B exam, which most law enforcement agencies now require, is for you to go to the website and write this down. It's post, post.ca.gov, postca.gov. And so in that website, POST is the Peace Officers Standards and Training website that basically lists all the training requirements for anyone who is seeking a job in law enforcement. So if you go to POST, you can search for the POST Pellet B exam, and it will show you some sample exams as well as suggestions on what you should be studying. Some of you are caught in some areas that you're not able to successfully pass, and in some cases I do urge you to take some remedial English classes so that you can overcome some of these obstacles. There is no magic approach to passing the POST Pellet B. It basically is a screening process to see if you are able to have some English comprehension, critical thinking, and you know, basically reading a paragraph and explaining what's supposed to be in there. Also, if you get a chance to read police reports, whether you go online and search police report writing or something, you need to become familiar with some of the words that are used in the blank spaces as part of the POST Pellet B exam. So it is a special talent for some people to have to come up with certain words that are only certain spaces long in order to put it in the paragraph. But by reading police reports and by becoming familiar with the most used words in these police reports, I believe this will help you pass the POST Pellet B exam. So that's my suggestions for doing this. One last piece of advice would be to not be discouraged the first time you take it and you don't pass. I can tell you that as a very young officer, the first time I took my written exam, as I was a reserve officer, and I scored 69.7% on the written exam. I needed a 70% to make it to the oral board, and so just that 0.3 kept me from applying for a full-time position. I did not let that hold me back, and I went ahead and signed up for other exams and finally started passing them, and that's what you should do too. Don't just get stuck on one exam. You need to take multiple exams. Each time you take the exam, you write notes that you can then bounce off of people who are currently in law enforcement or are teaching criminal justice courses, or like in my case, are a former police officer, to maybe help you fill those paragraphs. As I mentioned earlier in this video, police reports show the who, what, where, how, and why sometimes, right, and when. And when we write a police report, we try to answer those questions. You know, where did this thing happen? How did it happen? You know, who called? You know, and why? Is there a motive, etc.? So when you are trying to fill in, for example, the part of the police entry exam that asks you to put certain words, you need to understand certain key words that are part of every police report. For example, you responded to such and such call, and upon arrival you contacted such and such person who gave you a statement, and in that statement the victim said such and such and such and such. And so you have to know this language in order to be able to pass the POST Pellet B exam. There is not a one piece of advice that I can give you that will give you all the answers. And if you are struggling with English comprehension, I urge you to take a English remedial class so that you understand the basics of sentence composition, paragraph composition, you know, reading comprehension, critical thinking, etc. So this is approaching 5 minutes. I'll go ahead and end it here. Keep sending me questions on the comments. I will respond as often as I can. And thank you for listening.